All right, so the prevalence data. So this is just how it's prevalent in the work that we do. So faculty in higher education early childhood programs report that their graduates are least likely to be prepared to work with children with challenging behaviors. So this is kind of frightening because as the challenging behaviors arise, it's kind of scary to know that most people have this viewpoint that this is like what they're least capable of doing once they graduate. Preschool children are 3 times more likely to be expelled than children in grades kindergarten through 12th grade. So that's really scary because this is the most important part of their life when they're in preschool. This is where the most learning happens. And so that's a little frightening. So if we can do anything to avoid that expulsion, it's going to be helpful for families and children. And then there are evidence-based practices that are effective in changing this developmental trajectory. The problem is not what to do, but rests in ensuring access to intervention and support. So as long as we are helping these kids when it means the most, that is just what all of our work is about. So why is this important to implement in the community? So how many of you have either had a challenging kid in your classroom or at home, or have had teachers coming to you asking for help? Me.
I mean, I've definitely dealt with challenging behaviors.
Yeah, you hear about it a lot, and everyone's like, what do I do?
And
what?
every year there's more of it. Every year it is,
It's, because...
substantially more. It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, how are we going to address this problem? How are we going to staff?
Yeah.
How are we going to develop these interventions and make sure that they're being done to fidelity?
Where they're
to
stemming
help.
from, even.
Yeah, focus on where they're stemming from, why the kids are doing these things. So teachers often identify challenging behavior as a training need, which I think we can all relate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, teaching the curriculum isn't as important as, like, how do I deal with this challenging behavior? So data from CPCE reveals that 25% of their children are supported by the behavioral health team, and this number continues to rise. So this data was from last year. I'm sure that once we run this data again this summer, maybe, that it'll increase. I mean,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
we've all seen it in our day-to-day lives. Like, it continues to grow. We see it in burnout. We see old school teachers who have been around for 25 years that are like, this has never been this bad. Like, what do we do? So if we can figure out how to try to lower that number, that's what we're all here for. The Pyramid Plus approach supports all children in the classroom and builds on what is already happening. So it also helps to identify those with specific needs and then determine individualized supports. And we'll move into the pyramid model, which goes with this last bullet that I'm discussing. We support all children with nurturing relationships, and then we target those social and emotional skills. And then if that is not enough for certain kiddos, then we get to the nitty-gritty stuff. So from pyramid model, which is where it all initially started, to Pyramid Plus Center. So pyramid model and Pyramid Plus is just a little different. So we'll kind of discuss a little bit about that. So in 2001, the United States Head Start and Child Care Bureaus funded the Center on Social and Emotional Foundations for Early Learning. And the United States Department of Education funded the Technical Assistance Center for Social and Emotional Interventions, which from here on out will be referred to as TAXI. And that's a big thing. It has so many resources. It has so much, so much good stuff. So that's when it all started, 2001. And then in 2005, Colorado selected as a CEFL pyramid model state. So it was really just about 13 years ago. And the Interagency Pyramid Model Partnership was formed. And then in 2006, 2007, the Pyramid Model Partnership and CDE trained 350 people, and 13 coaches were trained and selected in 3 demonstration sites. So I know for me, the Pyramid Plus approach is a huge part of my career, and I mean, ultimately just a part of who I am and how I interact with children. But it hasn't been around for that long, about 15 years. So in 2008, Colorado was selected as Special Quest state. So Special Quest Interagency State Team established trainers and built upon a network of programs and communities. So that's a quick rundown of how we got to where we're at now.